Now, welcome to a News from Naboo special report, which will, of course, still include Thor's lightning takes. And let's get right to the news.
I wanted to call it the late night edition, but it's not late. This is more of like a breaking news type situation. There was a podcast that recently, within like the last 13, 14 hours or whatever, if that's recent, came out by the Sky Talkers, who apparently they got to sit down for a roundtable with some other well-known channels to talk with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Rick Famuyiwa, and Katie Sackhoff. And it's about an hour long. But the most interesting part came around the 7.5-ish minute mark, when one of them asked a question that had nothing to do with part of the answer that we're going to look at. The question was about like the future of Mandalore involving Grogu and the legacy of Tar Vizsla. And Jon Favreau just kind of talked about a bunch of other stuff in the middle of that. The important part to analyze is when he talked about the timeline. He said, Grogu is definitely someone who has spent time in both worlds, meeting the Jedi and the Mandalorians. We know that he started off earlier in the Jedi Temple. We've seen flashbacks that speak to that. And then we know that he's been rescued and spent many years with the Mandalorian, went back with Luke. Now we've been 2 years apart from him there, training. What's interesting is, as he chooses to return to his friend the Mandalorian because he's developed an attachment, blah, 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 blah. More stuff we don't need to hear.
Well, there's two things interesting about that, right?
Right.
First of all, years with the Mandalorian?
Yes.
Spent years with him?
That's the first quandary, is spent years with the Mandalorian, went back with Luke, now we've been 2 years apart from him there training.
Which I think is him poorly wording it to mean 2 years total?
2 years.
Not 2 years with Luke.
Well,
That's
I don't
next
think,
to impossible?
I think, he went back with Luke. Now we've been 2
Yeah,
years.
He's
we
referring
as in
to the audience, yes.
We have been 2 years without him because the episode that he went away was in December 2020.
Yeah, I think he's referring to the Mandalorian show, having been away from Grogu. I don't know.
It says
I think
now we've been 2 years apart. They're not saying we as in who. It would have been now Grogu's been 2 years apart from Mando. Yeah. It wouldn't. Grogu's not a we.
I think he worded that poorly because he's just, he's trying to say three things at once. He gets asked one question, he kind of goes off. I know a thing or two about getting asked a question and rambling off in a different direction and then trying to bring it back. So I think he's trying to answer two things at the same time simultaneously.
He's kind of doing his own spitballing here.
Yeah. He's saying that a couple of years have gone by in terms of the entire story, not that 2 years have gone by since Grogu and Luke went off.
It's been 2 years since the last episode of The Mandalorian.
Yes, which
2
is,
years
it has
since
been.
we saw him leave with Luke.
Yes.
It has not been, Luke has been training him for 2 years, which I've seen a lot of misconception around that. A lot of posts saying, they were, it was 2 years between that season and then the Book of Boba Fett when they get reunited.
I mean, just look at it logically.
I would say months, maybe.
I think months is even generous. What we see in the Book of Boba Fett implies like day one of training. I mean, I'm not saying it is day one.
Early in the training. I mean, they are already sitting and meditating. So maybe a week or so has gone by. I mean, but I don't think that it's like we're not deep into the training. We're not 2 years into training.
No. I mean, it's curious that like he would wait 2 years to ask about Yoda.
He waited 2 years to be like, do you remember your people?
Yeah, do you remember where you came from, your people? What do you recall? Because I once knew this guy who talked funny and spoke in riddles. I don't think that's 2 years later. I think
it's a very short amount of time.
Yeah, not to mention that implies he didn't believe that he would know Yoda. Because keep in mind, Grogu was a youngling at the Jedi Temple, right? During the time of the prequels, which was when the Grand Master was who?
Yoda?
Exactly. So I'm guessing he would have known who the Grand Master of the Jedi Order was.
Yoda, who's been prominent since the High Republic?
Since before that, yeah. Who's been, prominent for 800 years, essentially. So it's a little strange that he would ask that, unless he didn't know Grogu originated from the Jedi Temple and then started to train him a bit and is like, saw the vision too, of course. He kind of unlocks that vision.
He unlocks the vision after he asks.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you want to know where you came from? That could be the moment Luke's like, oh, damn, you were at the Jedi Temple. So you do know Yoda.
You got more Jedi experience than I do.
Yeah. I mean, what are the odds of assuming Yoda species is a pretty rare thing that neither Yaddle nor Yoda took any interest at all in Grogu and never... I mean, I know attachment's bad and all that, but you would think if there's some kind of rareness to the species, something special, they'd keep tabs on Grogu and Grogu would know who they are, right?
You'd hope that would be the case, yes. I agree. But Grogu doesn't speak, so he didn't actually answer the question, and his
No.
memory's all foggy, so maybe he does know them.
Yeah, it could be that his memory's kind of screwed up. That could be why Luke is asking,
Luke
do
said-
you remember?
Yeah, as Luke even said, I'm not teaching him so much as he's remembering.
Yeah, I'm helping him remember, yeah.
I think his memory got all foggy after whatever happened to him at Order 66, whoever saved him, put him in some sort of pod that he, like, hung out in a
I guess, for
Raiders
years.
camp for years.
Yeah, because we have to keep in mind, it's been 30 years since the Clone Wars ended, since Order 66. So he's been out doing things for 30 years. What those things are, we don't know. We know they culminate in him being in some kind of pirate camp on,
Yes.
on you know, and
On some
being found
random
by...
desert planet. And
Yeah, which makes you wonder, how does the Empire know even he's out there still? Like, there's so many
It's a lot of
questions.
questions, yeah.
But
They put him in storage, and somebody took it from their storage room.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Maybe he was frozen at the Inquisitor base at one time in their amber, and they like chiseled him out, and they're like, "Hey, this could be useful."
Yeah, look at the little cute guy. Maybe we can
Maybe
use...
we could make more little cute guys, an army of cute guys.
Yeah, that's how they're going to win this time. They're going to be cute looking
But
instead
I
of...
do, back to the topic, I guess.
Oh,
I do
yeah,
assume
yeah.
that this quote, when he says the 2 years apart from him, their training, the way he's saying we've been, he's talking about us as the
Yeah.
audience.
We've
have
been, not
and
they
we have
have.
been. Mandalorian season 2 ended like December 16th, 2020. It has been
Yes.
more
if he
than
was...
2 years since
Yeah.
we have seen that happen.
Yeah, if he's referring to Mando and Grogu, he wouldn't say we. He would say
You'd
they.
say they, or specifically
Yes.
Grogu. The Grogu has been apart from him for 2 years.
So, yeah, he kind of... Again, it's kind of a poorly worded, but I think he's just
Yes.
trying to say it's been 2 years since The Mandalorian ended. Since season 2 ended. And now
then-
here we are, about to pick it back up again.
Yes. But another weird part of it was saying that he's spent many years with the Mandalorian.
Many
years.
Like, I think minimum many years is 3. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
so I should say
because
a
you have
couple.
one, a couple, and then a few
Few,
or
and,
many,
many.
right? I think that's just kind of the standard.
Can't honestly believe that it's been many years that they've been together.
I can see one. I can see there being a good gap between season 1 and 2.
We don't exactly know how long Mando spent looking for the Mandalorian. After he got his quest to return Grogu, how long did he spend looking for the Mandalorians that could lead him to a Jedi?
Yeah, I think it could
We
be a
don't
while.
know.
It's implied it's a while because you can see there's much more of a rapport between Mando and Grogu, even with the pod, you know, in that first episode back where Grogu closes up the pod because he knows Mando's about to take care of business and kill some people.
He's seen him take care of business before.
Exactly.
I mean, he even says as much when the one's like, this is no place for a kid. He goes, he's seen worse.
Yeah, exactly. He's seen what I can do.
Yes.
This is not our first rodeo, so they've probably been together for months, if
But I can't
at
say
best
that
a
that's a
year.
big years gap.
years is a strange thing.
No, I will give them some time, and I will give the leeway for that, but I just can't believe that it was years, many years.
No. To me, it sounds like him being vague because he himself hasn't really sat down and thought the timeline out as much as he maybe should have.
And that's why I like Andor. Straight and simple. This is the time frame. He tells you just as much. When you do have a time gap, what happened? He said 30 shifts
30
or whatever
rotations.
went by.
Oh, yeah, 30, yeah.
30 shifts.
30
so
day
you're
and
like,
night
oh,
shifts,
so that's
yeah.
about we assume
yeah.
30 days-ish, give or take.
Yeah, there might be a different
Yeah, we can
rotation
at
of the sun on that world, or of the planet around the sun, excuse me. But yeah.
we can assume that they work one shift a day.
Yeah.
So I would say 30.
Well, I think they mentioned their 12-hour shifts or something like that.
Yeah.
So
30 shifts would give you
Yeah.
roughly 30 days. But this was just kind of a mess to say many years with the Mandalorian. Maybe he's all confused and he's talking about how many years he's going to spend with the Mandalorian, but he has not spent many years with him as
I mean, he could also be talking out of universe, too, because he does, I think the we comment implies he is speaking out of universe. When he says it's been years together, he could mean that it's been years since this show started. Now, it's another weird way to word it, but...
Yeah, because the exact quote is, and then we know that he's been rescued and spent many years with the Mandalorian. They're saying he's spent many years. They're implying Grogu spent many years. He's spent many
in
years.
that case, you're right.
Yeah.
But he could also be, again... It has been 30 years since he got rescued. So it's been many years since he was rescued. I just don't know about many years with Mando.
It's messy.
It is messy.
It's messy.
That's why I like timelines. Just
You mean-
lay it out for
You
me.
mean the Star Wars Timelines book that's been
That's
delayed
right.
at least a year?
I can't imagine
and it
why
was
that
supposed
book...
to come out in February, and then I got a notification it was delayed again till April.
It was supposed to be out last October.
I know.
right?
I printed
They don't know what... They're
pre-ordered
like...
this so long ago, and it just keeps getting the delay.
Can you imagine trying to create that book when you're talking to Favreau? So about how long have they been together? Many years.
Many years.
How long was the training with many years?
Many years.
Okay, so about how many years?
Can you just start giving me year markers at the front of the episodes? Because that's what you're going to get fans to wanting.
Yes. And we kid, of course. Like, I'm not that worried about it, right? It's not that huge of a deal, but
No.
it is. I think
just
it's
unbelievable, first off, to think that he spent 2 years training with Luke. That's, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't care about the exact number of days Mando and Grogu were together, but implying it was years that he was with Luke is strange.
Yeah, they were not 2 years apart. Never, never.
I cannot see that.
He waited 2 years to go see him.
I mean, he might have waited at most a couple months.
Exactly. It wasn't 2 years.
And how did he know where he was, too?
I
Luke, like, advertised, hey, building a gentle temple on this planet. Anybody who wants to come by and visit.
Mando's the emergency contact when he filled out the paperwork to send him to Jedi daycare training school.
Yes.
He's like, well, I have to know where you're going. It's part of the deal.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to know, right? Granted, you don't want to, in the moment, in the end of season 2, the final episode, be like, by the way, where are you taking? I just want to know where you're taking him. Like, I'm just letting you take this child away, so.
Well, maybe Luke put out an ad in the local HoloNet papers for, hey, promising Jedi Force-using students. I'm opening up a school at this location.
Got a Force-sensitive child? Don't know what to do with him? Ship him off here.
Oh.
Yep.
We kid, sorry.
Yes, we're joking, of course. Like I said, I don't think it's that huge of a deal to know the exact. I like to know it just because that's me. I'm detail oriented when it comes to this kind of stuff.
We got into this conversation quite heavily on the Discord.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people. It's huge online right now.
Patrons all had questions, and then
I
even on today's Grogu crazy theory, I got people asking if we would talk about this. So let's talk about this.
I think it's just poorly worded. I think he's implying the audience when he's saying we.
It'll give people something to watch while they wait for The Mandalorian tonight.
I know. That's why I was like, let's do it. Like, I'm just... Yes, and we might just, I don't know, stay up till 2 a.m. our time and watch it. And I don't know, maybe do the review right after. Who the heck knows what's going to happen tonight. And then there's Bad Batch.
We'll get to Bad Batch. We're just so excited about Mando that I can't help but think Mando's going to come first, and then Bad Batch will come out.
Yeah, we will still be doing the Let's Talk Some Bad Batch, but we're going to start with the Let's Talk Some Mando, probably Thursday, and then Bad Batch Friday. I don't know.
But from this channel, you can expect on Wednesday, because the review is going to go up on the other channel, we're going to do Mandalorian Wednesdays, where I'm going to do some homework and some research and deep diving and digging. Let's look up some lore about the Mandalorians and their stuff.
We'll try to cover 8 episodes of it.
Tomorrow we'll be talking about the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Because it's cool.
It is cool.
It's cool.
That's the whole video.
Who's been carrying it? What's it been up to?
Yeah.
Does it fit in Grogu's hands?
It will eventually.
The ring fits the hand of the wielder.
Yeah, have you heard our theory from earlier today? It's going to fit his hand.
And if you hadn't, you'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. And with all that said and done, that is all we got for this time. So take to the comments below. Tell us what you make of Dave Filoni's words here. Did he just kind of mix things up and word it poorly? Or do you really think 2 years went by where Grogu and Luke were together? Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.